Hi, so I've been gone for a little bit due to certain circumstances that have been beyond my control, but I'm back now. Yay. I'm back, so YouTube can now be revived, because as we all know, my channel is not small at all. I am one of the biggest YouTubers. So, anyway, I'm back, and to kind of make up for my, I don't know, I think it's been 2 or 3 weeks, my 2 or 3 week absence, this video is slightly longer. It's a video on everybody's favourite shit show, Supernatural. So yeah, I'm on Tumblr, so is anyone fucking surprised? I used to watch that SG Nightmare. No, they used to. I checked out about the season 12 mark, and it wasn't even good at season 12. The golden years, the Tumblr era, you know, about 2008 to 2013. As in the popularity, not as in the how good the show was, because the show was obviously good in season 1 and season 2. Yeah, because obviously it was popular in the Tumblr era because Super Hulock. It was Super Hulock was absolutely the light of my 10-year-old self's life. But in terms of season 12, I think I watched the first episode. I can't really remember what happened, to be honest. I think Mary was back. She came back in season 11 though. They managed to destroy her character from what I hear. But yeah, I think Sam got kidnapped or something. Did he get kidnapped? But okay, the reasons I stopped watching can be grouped into 4 categories. There are too many fucking episodes, and all of them are vacant of any clever writing or any sort of new monster that's actually good. They'll just reuse monsters, or they won't reuse a monster, but they will basically reuse a monster. So they'll do a monster that's not been done, but it's very close to a monster that has been done, if you get what I mean. So yeah, reason 1. Number 2, the characters are shit. All the characters have become parodies of themselves, and at this point, none of their motives make any sense. Number 3, all of the season finales have been anticlimactic since season 5 because they're running out of ideas. And season 4. Reason 4. The quality of the storylines has gone down quite drastically over the last 8 or 9 years. And the reason for this, specifically the downgrade in quality and them running out of ideas, is because Supernatural should have ended after season 5, or to push season 6 or 7. But the point I'm trying to make is Supernatural shouldn't be on the air anymore, and it should have ended before the writers began to run out of any actually unique or watchable ideas. And it makes me kind of mad, because I really did try to continue to enjoy the show, because I found the plots in the past to be interesting, and the characters, although they may have been inconsistent and a bit cringy at times, weren't bland or unsympathetic. But at this point, the writers have no idea what the fuck they're doing, and are trying to do whatever they have to keep viewers, which is when you know that a show should have been killed a long time ago. And the show is always hailed and praised as the longest running sci-fi show, but that's not necessarily a good thing, because the quality is more important than the quantity, bitch. All they're doing it for, the only reason it's been running for so long is cash. That's the main reason long shows are long, because they want to milk that franchise, because they know that they're probably not gonna be able to write another hit franchise like Supernatural. But to properly understand where it all went wrong, I'm going to go through the different eras of the show and the effects that they had on the overall quality of the show itself. So I'm not going to do it all at once, because that video would be an hour long, and regardless of popular belief, I can't talk for an hour. Yeah, I can only talk in short bursts. So we're going to do it parts. We're going to do the different parts separately. This is probably going to be the longest video, because I had to do the intro and everything. But today, we are doing the Kripke era. The Kripke era was the span from seasons 1 to 5, when Eric Kripke, was the creator of Supernatural, was the showrunner, and Bobby Singer was the co-showrunner. These seasons are widely considered the best, and the show was planned to be wrapped up when season 5 ended. This is probably the favourite era of like many people, and this is like my favourite era as well, because of the clear story arcs, and the clear story arcs ultimately led up to like the massively anticipated Sam v Lucifer at the end of season 5. And I personally wish they had ended the show then, because it would have been a clean and concise way to end the show, and would have left many fans, me included, satisfied and happy that the show had reached its full potential, and would be remembered in a good light. So like, it's not that the couple seasons after this aren't bad. Like season 6, 7 and 8 I would say are passable and watchable, but like they weren't needed. Like, it would have actually been better to wrap it up in like a clear way. But like, the overall arc of season 5 mainly revolves around the conflict between the angels and the demons of hell, but more specifically a conflict with Lucifer, although the angel didn't show up till season 4, after Dean had been raised from perdition by the angel Castiel. And it is clear if you watch the first couple of seasons that it was like where they were leading up to, and due to like the massive foreshadowing and symbolism in the first couple of seasons. Obviously the foreshadowing and symbolism wasn't that deep, because Supernatural was never a masterpiece to begin with. It was always just, you know, kind of fun, but it's not kind of fun anymore. But like, yeah, there was foreshadowing and symbolism in it. The arc of season 1 can be mainly summed up as Dean Winchester shows up at his brother Sam's college to ask for his brother's help after their father goes missing on a hunting trip. The season has like a kind of monster of the week format, which works well for introducing the universe lore and characters, which is something they've kept. But like, as the season goes on, it gets less. Like, there are more major arcs, or like small arcs within the season, because right now in this one there was really only only a major seasonal arc. And it was just like a 1-episode Monster of the Week thing, which I did think worked for this season. The season ends with them reuniting with their dad, John Winchester, or, you know, Negan from The Walking Dead. But they then get into a car crash. The driver had been possessed by a demon. This shit, they never get a break. That's like the general tone. They never get a break. So, by the end of season 1, the demons and hell are fully established and returning antagonist. And also going alongside the finding dad arc, there is a second arc of finding, and not quite killing by the end of that season, the demon who killed their mother. There isn't a lot to say about season 1, because as I said, it is kind of like, it goes along with most seasons, it kind of has like a fun sort of, it's like most first seasons for shows, as like a kind of fun sort of quality to it until the season arc begins to kick in and it gets more serious. Overall, that was a bit loud. Overall, I would give this season a 7 out of 10. I'm not comparing it to like other TV shows. This is like within the canon and narrative of Supernatural. Or like all the seasons would be rated like 4. No shade to Supernatural, but like a lot of shade to Supernatural. Because the reason I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 is because even though it was like slightly cliche and cheesy, it was just like fun and easy to watch, and it was just enjoyable. It like, the format is like a slightly edgy Scooby-Doo episode, and I found the seasonal arc intriguing and a nice add-on to tie all the episodes together in a linear way. But one downside that I would like to mention is sometimes the exposition in the episodes was like a bit like jammed in there, and it wasn't like subtle. They were like, here is the information, and we're just like, alright. I have no idea what might possibly happen next. And like, the exposition was put in like very conveniently right before the thing that they were explaining that was going to happen happens. Yeah. So it went, and sometimes it just like goes on for a bit too long. The exposition was like going on and on. You're like, okay, leave something up to the imagination, guys. And yeah. But it's like, I don't know where I was going with, but like, it doesn't take away from the enjoyment of the show overall, and I thought it was a good season overall. Okay, So season 2 ups the ante slightly and starts the season off nice and morbidly with the appearance from a nice Reaper who tries to take Dean, and then the first episode gets even more fun with Sam and Dean's dad, John Winchester, or Negan from Supernatural, trading his life for Dean's with the same demon that killed their mother. That's a big oof. So Dean comes back to life. I can't pretend that I was sorry that John died though. To be honest, Sis was like a bit of a bitch. A bit abusive, we can't stand. So then like season 2 fully kicks off and now Sam and Dean are even more intent on ever finding and killing Azazel, the demon that off their mum and their dad. But Sam's psychic abilities, like they still think it's psychic abilities, they're fools. In season 1, the psychic abilities was a thing, but it wasn't was it a big thing? No, it wasn't that big of a thing. Probably my like wrap up of the season is gonna be a bit bad. I'm not very good at most things, but like he has psychic abilities. Spoiler alert, you're gonna get a spoiler alert at some point in this episode. We get up to season 5. No, season 4's when it's, but like basically Sam was fed Azazel, made a deal with Sam's mum to like bring John back because John died, and then Sam's mum, and then Azazel was like, "What's up?" And then was like, "Do you want to make a deal?" And then Mary was like, "Fucking sure." And so he got to visit Sam and give him some blood so he could join the demon army. And Mary was like, "Oh, you know what? I changed my mind. Fuck you." And then she gets put on the Bernie wall, and then she dies. And like that's the backstory. She like dies, and John almost dies, and their house burns down, and then they become hunters. Yeah, bit of a tangent, but there you go. So yeah, Sam's psychic abilities added tension, along with like a whole host of new and more dangerous supernatural entities. The Monster of the Week format mostly continues with episodes such as Everybody Loves a Clown and No Exit, but the episodes start to go more in depth with Sam's abilities, and there are more short arcs within the episodes. This season ends with Dean making a deal with a previously established Crossroad demon. Okay, here's the thing we're gonna have to, I'm not gonna like mention stuff unless it's interesting to plot. So if I say like previously established or this thing was here before, just trust me it was, but I can't mention everything. There's like a lot of information, just like run down of the episodes, if you get what I mean. Yeah, anyway, let's go back. So yeah, he makes a deal with a previously established Crossroad demon to save Sam's life after he dies, because he was like at this thing where like, because Azazel did the blood thing to many children, and then he was like, "You're gonna fight to the death." But that doesn't make sense. Do you know what would have made more sense if you just like made them all work together? But like in the end, Sam gets stabbed. Ooh, drama. And Dean is sad about it. And you nasty Wincest shippers were like, "Oh, it's proving their love," and I was like, bet. No. So yeah. So Dean makes the deal and effectively has about a year to live. And then they have the big boss final battle and finally defeat Azazel with help from Ghost John Winchester. Because to kill Azazel, they have to open the gates of hell, and many demons were released, and also John was in hell because he made a deal with Azazel, so you have to go to hell. And a lot of demons and John Winchester escaped, and you know, they close it, but a lot of demons are out here now. And Sam, at the end, finds out about Dean's deal and swears to find a way to reverse it. Overall, this season's getting a 7.5 out of 10. I'm rating it higher than season 1 because it had like all the good aspects of season 1, along with like a more nuanced approach to exposition and some darker storylines which were enjoyable to watch. And I also like the more small arcs within the episodes, and some episodes like tied together and you know like that. Because they had more seasonal arcs. So let's move on to season 3. A lot is going on, and all of it is bad. Dean and Sam have to deal with a new wave of demons, including the big bad of the season, the first and very powerful demon, Lilith. She's not like the first demon in the show. She's like the first demon to ever be created. So this is powerful. Along with like they have to reverse the ill thought out deal that Dean made with a hot Crossroad demon, but Dean doesn't seem to want to reverse it, and he's just like, lol, guess I'll die. But Sam is very, very determined because he doesn't want his brother to die. Entirely understandable. I can see where you're coming from, Sam. Do I have a Sam bias? No. How dare you suggest such a thing? Dean's impending death definitely adds like a lot more tension to the season. I've noticed that the tension is like slowly increasing, which isn't surprising, because we're like getting closer to the big Sam v Lucifer battle. Yeah, so the tension is like slowly increasing, and yeah, season 1 was less. Season 3 is the shortest season so far. It's coming in only 16 episodes, while season 1 and 2 had 22. It definitely does nothing to relieve from the tension build up from this anxiety-inducing nightmare. The monster of the week thing is like still very prevalent, but the angsty talks between the brothers definitely ups this season. So we've gone from a couple per season with a oh no chick flicks at the end, to like an angst fest basically every episode. Sometimes there are episodes that like stray from the drama that's going on all the much time, and I think it's important to break up plots but the views to keep the views interesting, and I think it did make, but I think it is important to like break up seasonal, like it is important to like break up tension, but also this season was only 16 episodes and I don't think they had time. Like it really like made it like it was going kind of fast, but like by the end it was going too fast and I was like, what is going on? Like, and you know, it's just like you need to like keep in mind how much time you do have to tell a story. So when we were getting back to it, it was like a lot quicker moving. That would made sense. It moved a lot quicker. Also, like at times the angst did get like a bit comical. So like there's that as well. At the end of the season, wait. At the end of season 3, I just like when I had a bit of a moment. At the end of season 3, Sam and Dean haven't managed to reverse the deal. So Lilith finds Dean and gets their hands to murk him. So he dies and is sent to hell, but like Lilith does not last long after that because she attempts to kill Sam, but Sam's freaky powers cause it to backfire, and Lilith is the one who ends up dead. Overall, this season is getting a 6 out of 10, which isn't bad by like any stretch of reality. But I don't think that it was good as season 1 and 2, because like it was like in the first 2 like seasons, the like bad parts were like overshadowed by the good parts, but in this one they like upped the drama too much and like made it go too fast. Like the pacing is something I already talked about, but, like I wasn't hooked like last time. Like last time I was like, this show's kind of bad but I also love it. But like in season 3, the drama and just like the dramatics were too much, and for me to be fully invested, and like the way Lilith was defeated was like very anticlimactic in my opinion. Like I get it was like, oh my god, Sam's powers, but like it didn't really work for me personally. Maybe it worked for other people, but like, you know, anticlimactic and obvious like the issues with pacing. I mean, and I get, like, obviously due to the lower number of episodes, that those would be issues, but, like, apart from that, it was still a passable, I don't want to say enjoyable, passable season with, like, good character development, I feel, from Sam and Dean, and the way this season ended was clever, because now it, like, has the audience waiting after, like, the major cliffhanger of one of the characters obviously dying. So, on to season 4. We're almost through. So, season 4, we start the season with Dean waking up in a coffin, which is, honest to God, the scariest thing I can imagine. But, anyway, he wakes up in a coffin, and he digs himself out like a fucking champ. And when he gets out of the coffin, all the trees have been, like, knocked down in the general area, and I just, like, really love the tree thing. I need to talk about the tree thing. It's just, like, such a good like show don't tell moment, because like they don't do that a lot in supernatural like exposition angst, but that was like good. It was a good show don't tell moment. It also had like, it was a really good way to like pique the audience interest like right at the beginning. They were like, you're like, what's going on? And like in the beginning of the season, the first couple of episodes, that was something I noticed, is that they got better at like, rather than just outright telling the audience information through characters like they do, they did it more subtly, and I just like wanted to talk about how much I like that. So Dean finds out these both were raised from hell by Castiel because Heaven thinks Dean is the only one who can stop Lucifer, blah blah blah. Prophecy bullshit, because he opened the first seal when he like tortured some people in hell, so he's the only one who can like close it or like save the rest of the seals. The reason he tortured someone was like stop his own torturing. I feel like, obviously, don't torture people. I don't feel like I need to say that, but don't torture people. But like, he had his reasons. They weren't the best, but you know, he didn't just torture someone because he felt like it. In the later season, that probably would be something he'd do, but he didn't. So, yeah, a first seal opened, and when like a certain number of seals are broken, it might be all of them, but I think it's a certain amount, Lucifer's cage will open and he will be free at last. So the demons are trying to break the seals and the angels are trying to stop them, so there are a couple of arcs going on, which are mostly revolving around Heaven and its bullshit, and like saving the seals. My favourite thing about the season was the way they developed Castiel. I like Castiel, fight me, and like his relationship with the rest of the characters, so this isn't going to be a massive Castiel thing. I'm over that. So like, yeah. So Cass is obviously, I'm going to call him Cass. So Cass is obviously the angel who saved Dean from Heaven. Cass is like, he's the first angel that Dean meets. First meeting is very hostile because Dean is like very hostile and wary of Cass because everyone in Heaven is like peak dick, including Cass to start with, and Cass is like entirely different to emotions, I guess, and sexual orientation, but they are like, at least I would consider them, they care about each other by the end of the season. I like Cass as a character, and his development in this season was very good. Like, I just like that, and Sam's psychic demon bullshit stuff is still very at large, and he's going on, and a demon called Ruby, who's like actually been a thing for like a couple seasons, but I haven't mentioned her because I'm bad at reviewing things, and also because, like, as I said before, if they're not important enough, then I'm not going to mention them. So she's been like a thing since like last season, I think, but like there's been no point in mentioning her because she hasn't really had like any leeway on the major plots that have been going on, really. She's been teaching Sam psychic bullshit, but like, yeah, that's all she's been doing. So Ruby right now is getting Sam to like strengthen his demon powers, which Dean is not about, and is also having sex with Sam, which Dean is really not about. So like, it causes tension between Sam and Dean because Sam's like, I don't agree with you, and Dean's like, okay. It's great visual, but like, you know, he's like, they don't agree with the thing, they don't agree with each other, so that causes tension. They've had, yeah. So the end of the season is Ruby has tricked Sam into opening the final seal, and Ruby is promptly killed, but like, the final seal's open and Lucifer is free, and that's how season 4 ends. So within the supernatural canon, this is getting an 8 out of 10 because so far it's been my favourite season, and that's merely attributed to the way that supernatural staff clearly developed as writers and filmmakers in this season. Wasn't like a couple of the ones before, in that I enjoyed it despite the shortcomings. Like, the way the season got better, the shortcomings were like harder to notice, because in the first couple of seasons I was like, I can see these shortcomings clearly, but I'm going to enjoy it anyway. I had to like actively look for real shortcomings. But like obviously there was still like the writing was still a bit dodgy, but like it's getting better. But I don't really have like a lot of bad things to say about this season that I haven't like already said, if you get what I mean. Like, yeah, so there we go. So on to the final season in this era of Supernatural, season 5. So it starts off with Dean and Sam being saved from the blast of Lucifer's cage opening by by God. It's just God. So they end up on a plane that is flying over where Dean and Sam were, because as I said 5 seconds ago, the main player God is getting involved because it's all coming together. So now a lot of the more like powerful beings are emerging, which adds to the tension and helps the overall build up. And I know that throughout this video I've commented on tension build up, but that is one thing that's like been consistently good. That I'm consistently good at effectively building up tension in the first 5 seasons of the show. And actually beyond that, for most of the seasons up until the last couple, they have been good at tension build up and good at bringing the stories together. So they're not necessarily good, but unlike a lot of shows, they are tangible and make a lot of sense. So yeah, because that's one thing that's really good. This season has less like episodes that are like one-offs. Like they're all of them like entwined together as like arcs. Like there'll be like 8 episode arcs or like 6 episode. There'll be like arcs within them that are all building up to like the final battle, obviously. And like the angst is upped by at least 50%. I'm not sure how I feel. Like the thing is, the way like it's not bad to have like a lot of angst in it, but effective like emotional writing is important if you're going to do that, and they're not really good at that. They don't write it like they're people, and they don't write it like the syntax of the characters. Like that's not something they do, and it's just like kind of like the angst has never been good, and like they're like always like chick flick moment afterwards. I'm like, go away. Don't like threaten these hallowed halls. Like it just isn't good. It's really not good. So I've just rant aside. So the season continues. This continues. Lucifer's cage is now empty because of Sam's powers and Ruby's bullshit lying. But now Ruby's dead. I mean, the fact that she stays dead is surprising considering that Supernatural is earned a rep for never keeping the fucking characters dead in their lives. So from the last couple of seasons of the show, like, it got worse. I don't know where I was going with that. I said it really weird. Like, yeah, it's gotten worse than ever keeping characters dead. It wasn't a major problem here, but like, seasons like 9 to, oh Jesus Christ, for 14 seasons. From season like that time, they're like, none of the characters, like John Winchester comes back, massive spoiler. John Winchester comes back in season 14, I heard. Why? Is he going to stay back? Because that'd be really weird. Because John's a bad character, I'm sorry. He's not one of my faves. He's bad. I don't like him at all. Yeah. I'm just gonna keep going on like mini tangents. I'm gonna stop doing that. So the tension so Sam and Dean have had like this tension going on for like seasons, as long as the show, there's always been a bit of tension between them, but like it reaches our all-time high because they spend like some time apart, and because like Sam really doesn't want to be Lucifer, and Dean doesn't want to kill his brother as Michael because like he needs to be possessed by Michael, and Lucifer needs to possess Sam, you know, end the world, and Sam and Dean are like no. So Dean suggests that they just like split up, and they do. It's only for like one episode though, and my personal fave Cass is back, and now he's rebelled against the Angels and teamed up with the Winchesters to take Lucifer down without destroying half the world, and one very important step is for Dean to undermine Sam at every turn. I'm not salty, except I am. I mean, the cold turkey blood thing to get the blood out of Sam's system, it's kind of like... Could it say it's like communism? It's a good idea on paper, but when people start screaming, you need to stop. So it builds up, and throughout the seasons until the big pièce de résistance of the show, the big fight kicks off. In the lead up to the fight, just like as a side note, in the lead up to the fight, Sam gets possessed by Lucifer in the end anyway, so whoops, guess the Angels find Sam and Dean's half-brother and Michael possesses him. That bit was a bit like... The fight ends with an emotional montage and Sam and Adam going to hell. Overall, this season is going to get an 8.5 out of 10 because it is honestly my favourite season in the Kripke era, probably my favourite season in all the eras because all the other eras aren't as good. And it's mainly due to like the well done tension build up and well written episode storylines, along with the characters that were like the characters were sympathetic, and the development of new characters not shoved in your face. It's more subtle, which I like, and the dialogue and interactions felt natural. But one thing I would like to say on the, well, actually more than one thing, a couple of things I would like to say on the negative side. Adam, like the way he was introduced and used was like slightly convenient and overall I believe badly done because they just forgot about him. He's never been mentioned beyond season 5. It was badly done, it was stupid, and also as I mentioned, they're so bad at writing their characters emotional because the way their characters have been written, their characters are dicks. I mean, Sam's alright with the emotional thing, but like they don't know how to write emotions for some reason. It's weird, but like it was overall a good season. So that's the end of the Kripke era. As you can probably see, the quality in this era like remained high throughout, so it's clear that the writing team, directing team and other staff really played to everyone else's strengths and gelled together well to create some really good episodes and arcs in the first 5 seasons. It may have been cheesy or questionable moment, or like at times it was like cheesy or questionable, but it was undoubtedly, inarguably, the best season of Supernatural. So, I'm really bad at doing outros, so we'll just make this quick. Like this video, you know, like it please, and subscribe. I don't really have many subscribers, so just subscribe, it would help, and you know,